That's going to do it for the first half from the land of Disney. The Kings down to 56-54. In a minute, we'll be joined by Jerry Reynolds. It is the Jonathan Isaac show currently in Orlando. That has been the story of the game. The bench discrepancy right now. The Kings bench not giving them anything, being outscored 27-7 right now. Malik Monk really struggling in that first half. 0-7 from the field, 0-2 from beyond the arc. Not just him struggling, the Kings having a little bit of difficulty getting into their offense and having a ton of issues keeping the Orlando Magic off of the offensive boards. That has been a big problem. The Magic, they usually average somewhere around 10, 11 offensive boards per game. Tonight, they already have 6. So in a minute, Jerry Reynolds will be joining us breaking down the first half, a back and forth first half. It's a fight, and we thought it would be. It's a defensive battle. This really, to me, is going to be a game that's going to be a race to 100 points, and the Kings are getting some very good looks. Let's not overlook that. They're also getting some good production. They're getting some balanced production. Not a lot of turnovers. Free throws doing okay. So again, if you're Mike Brown and the Kings, I think you're very happy with where you're at. Chris Duarte coming off the bench for the Kings. He was a bright spot. He helped the Kings turn this around in the first half. And in fact, it's a first half where it was kind of a roller coaster ride, not to play off of the land of Disney, but it was up and down in this one. The Kings get off to a little bit of a slow start. Then they go on a nice little run. I think it was right around 11-1 run the Kings go on. And then second quarter, Orlando goes on a run. The Kings come back. That's where we're at. We're talking about the Kings and the Magic 56-54 from the land of Disney. And as promised, we bring in Jerry Reynolds. Mr. Reynolds, happy basketball weekend.
Yeah. So it's really seeing more than I can follow, to be honest. I really haven't followed the college game near like I used to at all, but
Yeah.
but trying to keep up in the NBA is about all I can do. But good half, two good young teams going at it. I thought Jonathan Isaac was really the difference in the half, and one of those guys that has star written all over him if he could stay healthy, which he hasn't been able to do. But wouldn't he look pretty in a Kings uniform? Just just saying.
Yeah, but you would only maybe have him for like once every. The Kings have like 20 uniforms. He'd get to wear one of them each year, and that would probably be the season.
Yeah.
I know.
If
He's nice.
He can stay healthy. He's a star.
Oof. He is a star, Jerry. There's no doubt about that. Hopefully that star gets a little bit dimmer in the second half for the Kings.
Yeah. We need him to come back to his averages. He's already passed them all, so we'll see.
I know. Gosh, what was he at? I wrote it down. I think he was at like 17 and something with 8 minutes to go in the quarter, and it's like, my goodness. But anyways, the Kings actually have had some success in transition with the fast break. They're leading 16-5 in that area. What are you seeing that's going well for them, Jerry?
Well, I think they're rebounding pretty well out of their zone, which has helped, and that gets them out in the open court. And of course, anytime you can, get a defensive rebound and get the ball out and down the court pretty quick, you got numbers, and they've done a good job of that. I think the ball's moved very well. I do think it's going to be a real key for the Kings to keep Keegan Murray involved. Really try to get him some shots. I think he's got a game going, and just don't forget him. Which we've seen this team kind of do. They just kind of go away from him as opposed to going to him.
It's a great point, Jerry. And you would think there'd be more shots for the starters with obviously the change with Kevin Huerter. I mean, you'd like to see it distributed evenly, but Orlando's running some zone defense that they've thrown at the Kings. To me, Keegan Murray's a perfect guy to throw in the middle of that.
Yeah, exactly. He really, and has the ability to penetrate it for that mid-range shot against the zone. We've seen him do that pretty well. I do think, Keon Ellis has really been impressive. He's going to play good defense, but I think his offense has been equally impressive. And
yes.
he almost he almost never takes a bad shot or a rush shot. I think he did take one, but overall, hey, it's good basketball. It's going to take a little better half for the Kings to win, though. I think that. I think his game's going to get a little more physical, and they've got a lot more
Yes.
depth and size, so that's a concern.
It's a great point. Jerry Reynolds joining us. The Kings down to 56 to 54. Speaking of the size and the zone defense, the Kings ran their own share of zone defense, and the liability there is weak side rebounding, offensive rebounding. Orlando gets 6, Jerry, in the first half. Do you keep going to the zone, or do you just man up at some point?
I'd like to see him man up. I mean, I'd like to see him change up. I just think that against good teams with as much many players as this team has, uh, show them different looks. Play 5-8 minutes zone, maybe then go play pressure man for a while. I definitely think the man pressure, uh, you have the advantage of quickness. You don't have the advantage of
Yeah.
size. So pick the ball up sooner, make them work. I think, but I like the Kings zone. I'd like to say I just don't think it's something you can play 40 minutes a game.
Yeah, and Jerry, you hit on something that really, to me, might be a key for the second half. What's the balance look like with Mike Brown? Because Orlando is bigger, but the Kings, obviously, we talked about the fast break advantage tonight. They're quicker. Do you put your eggs in the size versus speed basket today?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think it'd be tough. I think you really need to go to your strengths. So if most of your best players are on the smaller variety, well, you better
Yeah.
go with your best. I'm not saying I would like to see that zone with both Sabonis and Lynn in it at some point. I don't think they've really worked on that, but I think this would be a good place to have that if you want to go to match up size wise, which I think you certainly should try to do some. But I'd say overall, the strength is, if anything, is with the speed and quickness.
Speed and quickness. I think that's how you say it. The Kings bench is not playing good. Chris Duarte gave them a little bit of a spark, but they're being outscored 27-7 right now. So they're going to need more in the second half there. Jerry, De'Aaron Fox last game, 15 3-pointers. It's a lot of threes. Tonight, he's 3 of 8, 1 of 5 from beyond the arc. Is he settling too much?
I kind of think he is. That's not his real strength. His real strength is getting to the mid-range area. Of course, you'd love to see him get all the way, but and against zone or man, I think he has the ability to step through on the zone and get that mid-range shot. I just don't think he's looking for it like he did. And that was really what made him very special. He could
Yeah,
go get 27 points on 20 shots, and
exactly.
and really that's when the Kings are at their best. Obviously, Barnes is a very productive player. He doesn't take many shots, but his percentage is good. And of course, Domas is amazing generally. But I think the key there is, Fox. If he can get you 27 points on 20 shots, you're going to be in every game. And when the Kings aren't in those games, that's kind of why. And I think you hit on it. I think settling for the three way too much. I think he's a guy you want him shooting threes, but it's probably 5 or 6 a game.
Yeah. Yeah. No, Jerry, I talked about it on my podcast. I think with the change in style that the Kings have had, and the numbers show it, their season numbers show the style has changed. The Kings, it's no longer, to me, the quantity of threes, it's the quality. And I feel like 35 to 40 is kind of that number for the Kings to be winning basketball games.
I couldn't agree more. I think this team wants to shoot threes, but I think they're shooting too many forced threes. It's like what you really want is the comfortable, wide open threes. And
Yeah.
if you get those, well, yeah, so we'll take 40 of them. But just to go out there and when the opposition knows you're just looking for threes, it makes it easier to play guys on the line. And I think we've
Yeah.
seen that a lot here late in the year. And I think, whether I certainly thought against the Knicks and the Rockets, good athletic teams that really react, they
Mhm.
really could cover up those 3-point shots a lot better.
Yeah, they could. That's a very good point. I want to dig just one level deeper on that with De'Aaron Fox. Yeah, he can get to the mid range like we talked about, but he's not quite always doing it. He's been very vocal about his frustration with the referees. Do you think that's playing into his decision not to go to the mid range, or do you think it's more how teams are playing De'Aaron?
Well, I think it's a little both. I mean, his frustration, but that ought to make him more committed, not less.
Yeah,
That's where I look at it. And I mean, when De'Aaron's at his best, he's really forcing officials to make a call or not call. They're not going to
good
get them
point.
all right, but I mean, that's with every guard that penetrates. But I just think, a terrific De'Aaron Fox is a guy, like I say, he's going to get you 27, 28 on 20 shots. He's going to get the line for 6, 8 a night, 7. He's got to
Yep.
make them better, but he just hasn't been getting to the line. And it's not all the officials' fault there. They're not going to foul somebody shooting threes, generally speaking.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe a little more in today's NBA, but yeah,
Yeah,
still
that's
not
right.
a lot.
Yeah, and more I think about it, yeah, there's enough dumb fouls on threes.
No doubt. And De'Aaron, he's actually got to the line 4 times tonight already, 3 of 4. So not bad for him, right around halfway to that number
Yeah,
Jerry's talking
yeah,
about.
yeah. Just really, in his case, just make a little better percentage, and then you're on the right track here. But this game's going to come down to obviously. I think he and Monk both have to have strong games and find a way. I think to get Murray more involved. If Murray
Yep.
gets more involved and gets some good clean looks, Sabonis will get his.
He
Just
always does.
because. So it's a matter of really helping other guys get shots.
No doubt. The Kings down 2 at the half in a bar fight in the land of Disney as we expected it. I said I kind of tipped the audience off at the start of the show, but I know you didn't hear it because you weren't on. So, what's your prediction for how this one ends? And is it a race to 100?
I think it is a race to 100. I think the team that wins will get more than that, but
Mm-hmm.
I think the Kings can win this one, and it'll take some heroics by I think Fox and Monk in particular. Maybe 105 to 104 win. I mean, I think these teams
There you go.
are very different, but they're evenly matched differently. I think the earlier game in Sacramento showed that that we might be in. I don't think either team can get away from the other one.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, Orlando normally 30th in the NBA in 3-point makes. So if you get ahead of them, which I'm not sure the Kings can, I don't see that comeback like you're saying, Jer.
No, the one thing about this Orlando team, they really are good. Good moving the ball. I mean, they're a lot like Kings
Yes.
that way. They move the ball. They find open shooters. Their guards do penetrate, looking to kick the ball off to bigs or out, spread out. So, yeah, it's a fun game to watch, and clearly, both teams. I mean, certainly Orlando's in better shape than the Kings right now, but playoff caliber teams, no question. And whoever plays the best half wins the game. Simple.
There it is from the man, Jerry Reynolds. Jerry, we're getting a lot of comments about how much everybody loves you and what it's like to be with Jerry Reynolds. So I'm going to let you close the show and just say hi to the people. They want Jerry. They don't want me.
Well, I mean, I appreciate anything, especially as you get older, you appreciate any compliments more and more. But yeah, I've always said if I'm anybody's hero, they need to set their goals much higher, much higher.
I don't know
But
about that, my friend.
I still, I enjoy working with you and of course Grant and all, and I've been so fortunate getting to meet a lot of fans, and they've just been delightful, whether it's in the arenas or at the grocery store. I'm more than happy to talk basketball if anybody wants to talk it. I, I may not know a lot, but I got a lot of opinions. I think you, as you know.
Well, yeah, we love having you on, love talking with you, and it's really nice to hear that you can find Jerry in the grocery store and he's not door dashing. Love it.
Oh no, I that's one of the things that I kind of it's sad. It's hard to say, but it's actually one of the things I enjoy doing. I mean,
Right?
yeah, Mrs. Reynolds kind of prefer I go, and so she's done it for years. So I'm the grocery man.
Hey,
I know what the sales are, and I take my time.
yes.
You know,
Yes.
yeah, I take my reading
It,
glasses so I can tell which exactly what the prices, the carbs are, and the sugars.
yep. Yep. You gotta check the macros. And Jerry, for me, when I go shopping, it's like a chef. I don't know what I'm gonna cook. What looks good? What's fresh? That's the fun part.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I never thought I'd say that, but but that I may be sad actually that I've gotten to this point in my life where that's really an enjoyment.
No, no, you just discovered the good parts. But hey, him and I will talk life all night. We're going to get you back to Orlando. Kings down to 56-54. We will see you right after the game. Open phones right here. Make sure you come back to a few.